Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Western North Carolina fishing report with the Nantahala Sasquatch himself, Gordon Vanderpool. How's it going, Gordon?
I'm good, brother. Happy to serve. I'm here, man. What's up?
All good. So I guess the trend kind of in the mid-Atlantic is rainy, but not too rainy and warming up, which probably means good fishing. What are you seeing?
Definitely seeing the warming up trend. And the rain, backed off for a bit. Things were getting down nice and stabilizing. But we had a good bit of rain today. Got some of the streams up and cranking, but like the Nanny's still fishable. They finally turned that off. They were not generating, but running water over the dam for a couple of weeks. But it finally come down. I didn't check it today to see if they did it again, but it was good. Water temperatures are warming up. I temped them over 45 degrees the other day. And when you get temperatures 45, and up, then you're going to start seeing the bugs. So we are seeing the bugs. The little brown and black winter stones are moving. The blue quills are moving. The quill gordons are moving. You still got your midges, still got your blue wings, but that's starting to get the fish really active. So the fishing is really, really heating up right now. It just happens quick here in the Southeast with the way the weather changes on a dime like this. And it gets that water temperature going and boom, bugs start moving, fish start going crazy. So it's starting to happen. Day to day, it's a little different, but it's coming.
Got it. And how does that translate into basically flies and tactics?
Yeah, for me, I'm a very simple person. So if I see a bunch of tan and black caddis moving, I'm going to be throwing black, olive, or light tan, plain waltz and sexy waltz. That's going to cover that. If I see a bunch of blue wings or blue quills or quill gordons, then if I see blue quills and quill gordons, I'm going to throw a quill body of some sort in a 16, 14, even 12. And if I see a bunch of blue wings, I'm going to throw like a 16, 18, or a 20 and a dark, like little Baetis imitation, like a little, you can do a France fly, stuff like that. I keep it super simple. Those are the flies that I cover when those insects are hatching, and they're going to eat them.
Got it. And we've got a listener question from Christian, and I'll try to kind of boil this down. I think the short version is he's been guiding friends, and he's been having a hard time working with them on their casting to get them into fish. And I think the real question is, when you first started out guiding, how did you deal with that balance between, letting people have fun and catch fish and working on their casting, or feeling like you didn't work on it enough, and kind of finding that right balance of, catching fish and learning, I guess, is the easiest way to say it.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Christian, for the question. And I would say, when I first started out, and I still do it to this day, first, did he say he was struggling with the instruction part on the casting? Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to find the right balance, right? He's not having success basically getting enough correction to get his buddies into fish.
Okay, fair enough. So with me, Christian, like I'm very much a technique-driven instructor. Marvin, you can vouch for that. You fish with me. I feel if an angler can focus really hard on getting that good technique down and doing proper drifts, whatever that is, then that's going to definitely result in a lot more fish. So what you do, the way you do it, if you're with your friends, of course, you kind of feel them out. So if you have a client come in, it's okay to look at them and be like, hey, are you really focused on learning this technique today and really understanding the do's and don'ts and the ins and outs of it? Or do you kind of just want to catch fish? And they will be happy to give you an answer. I mean, I've had clients for years who are like, oh man, I'm not worried about catching. I want to learn today. I want to learn this technique. Then you'll have a lot of them. They're like, look, I'm paying you. I don't care how we do it. Just get me catching fish. Does that make sense? I mean,
yeah, it does. And so kind of what does that look like? I mean, obviously, if you got someone who wants to be taught, they're not going to give you a hard time for not catching fish. But, the worst place is you got someone who wants to catch fish and they can't cast. So,
yeah.
What are the tips and tricks there? I mean, there's no magic bullet, but, when you're in that situation, whether you're with a buddy or you're trying to guide somebody, what would you do?
Honestly, there kind of is a magic bullet. Now, Christian, and I mean this in the most, in the greatest way. I don't mean this in a mean way at all. But everybody at some point you have to learn how to teach. That may be something that you never really thought about. I guess I didn't at first really think, man, these people are asking me all these questions, but now I need to understand and really break down the mechanics on how to teach them. So learning how to teach them is not the easiest thing in the world. I think there are some really good instructors and guides out there, and then there's a lot of people that really fall short on that part. So if you think that you really don't have the tools, and maybe you have the knowledge, but maybe you don't feel like you have the tool set yet, maybe get with a buddy or get with somebody, and kind of try to learn some tricks of the trade. I'm happy to help you. If you want to call me, just give me a shout anytime, and I can give you, it's impossible for me to give you all the fixes when I don't know what problems you're seeing, even though I really do probably know what problems you're seeing, because I'm going to see them on a daily basis as well. But if you want to get specific about it, it would be best to give me a phone call, and I can square you away there. But teaching is not an easy thing. You have to have 10 different ways to teach the same thing, because everybody learns different.
Yeah, and I think too, and we talked about this before we fired up the recorder, a good starting place is to go to FFI, Fly Fishers International, and they certify instructors. And the real driving factor between being a CI and an MCI is really not to be the Ted Williams of casting, but to be able to teach people to cast. And so that might be a good resource. If you go to their website, you can find instructors in your area. And if you're a member, you have access to video content as well. So that might be another place to kind of look at the teaching casting versus the casting part of it.
Absolutely. I second that 100%, Christian. I'm a certified casting instructor myself. So when I took that role and I passed that test years ago, it helps you understand the whole terminologies on how the rod tip moves and what the line does versus what the rod tip does. So when you learn how to control that tip and understand what happens when you do certain things, good or bad, you'll easily be able to translate that and teach people that. So I would highly recommend that, to go learn and study that and kind of learn that. And it definitely helps your teaching. It helped mine for sure.
Yeah, and folks, keep the questions coming. Remember, send us the questions to the Articulate Fly Facebook page, and if we read your question on the report, I'll send you some Articulate Fly swag, and you will get entered in a drawing for this season's yet-to-be-determined prize, but I'm sure, Gordon, you and I will figure that out at some point.
We'll brew something good up.
Yeah, we'll brew something good up. And, it's not a fishing report with you if we don't have a most valuable medal, so what have you got for us?
Nice. Mcauley Schenker, anytime.
There you go. Well, folks, I'll drop that YouTube video in the show notes.
That's a killer tune.
Yeah, and so before I let you hop, why don't you let folks know where they can find you so they can book in fish with you?
Absolutely. Flyfishingwnc.com is the website. Gordon Vanderpool or Turning Stones Fly Fishing on Instagram, and the same on Facebook. I have a business page, Turning Stones Fly Fishing, a personal page on Facebook. So you can reach out on any of those platforms to ask questions or set up a trip.
Yeah, that's great. And folks, the weather is starting to get just perfect. You need to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Gordon.
Tight lines, Marvin. We'll see you, bud.